Haunted by the thought of you. If you need my loving, call me and I'll step on you. And we can talk all night long. If you want this love.
What's going on, SC430 community? My name is Henry. Today's video, we're doing a kind of a repair video. So maybe you've seen me in the past talk about the issue, but it's surprisingly quite common. It's an electrical problem. Most of the time you won't really know if it's an electrical problem until it actually completely fails. I'm talking about the ABS system, the TRC, and the VSC. So basically the symptoms, if you guys remember, I'll show a screenshot back when I first rebuilt Operation Frankenstein. So we're talking, it's been a year already. If anything, it's been a year, 2 years? I don't even remember. I'll have to look it up. But anyways, you remember that I had the parking brake released, and when driving, obviously you don't hear the noise and the parking brake. You could hear it in the video that it was, released properly and it wasn't engaged, but the parking brake light was on. Weird, right? Didn't think about it because it still functioned as is, and I didn't really needed to worry about it at the time. Eventually, obviously, since I didn't do anything, it escalated and things got worse. Not function-wise, but ABS light would turn on, VSC would turn on, the traction control light would turn on, things like that. Didn't care because, the car stopped when it needed to stop, so I was just like, it's fine. We'll fix it later, because at the time too, it was summer. I ain't gonna work on the car during the summer unless it's catastrophic problems, because it's too damn hot out here in Arizona. But then eventually my speedometer stopped working, and then the ODO wasn't tracking my miles anymore. It basically froze. The fuel was still reading correctly, the coolant was still reading correctly, RPM was reading correctly, everything drove fine. It was just the display, right, on the dash, on the cluster, wasn't reading properly. So then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should probably fix this, because obviously if I don't know how fast I'm going, that could be a problem, right? And then who knows what other actual problems will show up, leaving the issue as is. So did a bunch of research. It took a while to figure out what the actual resolution was, because it kind of seemed like it was either this or either this, check that, the basic stuff like, oh, check a fuse, blah, blah, blah. Obviously I checked the damn fuse. So obviously it's kind of one of those things just to check as a, as a dummy fault before you actually dig into stuff. So I get it, but to me reading that, and I was like, ugh, getting tired of reading that it's, yes, I get it, the fuse, check the fuse is fine, I swear. And then I ended up swapping out the brake booster, the entire brake booster system with the reservoir and all that kind of good stuff, and replaced it from my 2007 parts car. Still was having the lights on, the dash, the speedometer not working, with fresh brake fluid, things like that. And obviously making sure that the reservoir for brake fluid was filled up and there was no air bubbles. So I'll throw that out there. So everything still functioned as it was supposed to, just at the cluster. Come to find out, there is a ECU specifically for the ABS, the anti-brake system, the TRC, which is the traction something, I'm sure it stands for something important, but it's traction control, and then the VSC, the vehicle stability control. So I've swapped out basically all three of those systems. So we're talking a lot of sensors, a lot of wiring with the 2007 parts car. So it was all, I was lucky enough that it was all universal between, the first generation and the second generation SC430. So everything fit in, no problems at all. So come to find out, it's the ECU problem. So right here, this is it. This is what it looks like. It's literally held down by 2 bolts and 4 connectors, and this guy is a little speaker, so there's a connector for it too. There's a speaker for it for whatever reason, but it's optional. I have heard people saying that this would start going off when it's having issues, so that's kind of like something to alarm you, to be like, oh, I should probably get this checked out. But technically you don't have to have this plugged in if you don't want to, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna plug it in. If it starts buzzing, then I'm gonna take it off. So this is located under the driver's side dash, near just above the fuse box by the foot, in the footwell. So I wanted to say it sits up like this, I think. I can't remember, because right now the one I have in the car right now is the 2007 ECU. So this is the original ECU that came with Operation Frankenstein, but I think that one's also having problems too. So I'm going to show you how to fix it. Very, very simple. It doesn't require any calibrating or anything. But with that being said, although this video isn't a sponsor, or maybe it's a slight sponsor, not really, but I reached out to somebody on eBay that actually repairs these guys specifically, for a bunch of different cars, and especially ours. So this one was the one that had all the speedometer issues and the lights on the dash, right? So I took this one out and I put a 2007 one in. Now I think the 2007 one is starting to slowly die because the lights are starting to come back on the dash, but the vehicle function is fine. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, might as well make a video on how to fix it, because I didn't make a video before because I wasn't sure what I was getting my hands into. So basically, I reached out to Clarence Myers with, let's see, with Electronics Repair Automotive Industrial. I don't think that's the actual company name, but I'll show his business card here. Hopefully that's focused enough. But I reached out to him and he's able to fix these guys. It's gonna, with tax and shipping and all that stuff, it came out around $300-ish for this service. So honestly, not too bad. I mean, it does suck because it's kind of pricey, but if it fixes the problem, can you really complain? So this is what I sent this one to him, and I'll put on screen how long it took. I want to say it was like a week and a half. The turnaround for him to actually do the repair is very, very quick. It was just like, doing the cheapest shipping option with USPS to ship it to him, right? And then obviously him shipping it over back to me the same way. So, but service-wise, to actually do the service, it only took about a day or two. So it is all just USPS taking their sweet time. But yeah, so we're gonna plug this bad boy in. It should fix pretty much all of our issues, and if you're having the same issues, it should fix yours. If it doesn't, then that means you actually do have a problem. So if you have the same symptoms, I recommend getting this repaired first. And this is with already checking that the fuses work and they're good. Your brake fluid is topped off and it's not leaking, and there's no air bubbles. And you know for sure that the car drives perfectly fine and you don't notice any differences. So be sure to have someone else try to drive the car and see if it feels different, because obviously if you drive the car for so long and there's like a small problem with it and it slowly progressively gets worse and worse, you won't notice it, especially if you're not a mechanic like myself. Like if I drive the car, I can tell something is off if there's a tiny change. It could be literally anything. So make sure you know for sure that everything is functioning and topped off as it should before you start deciding on what to take action on first. But if you're having the same issues as I was, do this first, because it's literally the ABS, TRC, and VSC, and that was all the issues I was having. So it's this guy, and my brake fluid was fresh from a 2007. So I swapped all the systems, right, and mechanical stuff and fluid stuff before I even did this. And so I made a mistake. I took a lot of time out of my life to swap out everything in the car just to find out it's just this guy. I didn't have to do all the work. So start with this. So I'm gonna just get started and show you how to take it out and put this guy in. You don't need to unplug the battery if you don't want to. Don't think it's necessary. It's just plug and play. Just don't, start the car without it plugged in for whatever reason. Gonna need a 10mm socket and ratchet. Probably do an extension on it just to make it a little bit more comfortable on yourself. Maybe a Phillips head screwdriver, if I can remember. I don't think you'll need that, but just in case, bring that with you. And then if you have those like specialty tools to disconnect the wiring, because sometimes it's really hard to get off, especially for a 20-plus-year-old car. So other than that, let's grab some tools and start ripping things apart. Okay, so to find this unit, it is underneath here, like I said before. Might be hard to see on camera, but basically we're gonna take this under, kind of dash out, just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves to get to. And if you want to, move the seat all the way back. I don't think I have the battery plugged in. Yeah, I don't have the battery plugged in for the car because I'm doing some other maintenance stuff. But yeah, we want to take this off. So we're going to have to remove this. There'll be a connector here, so you can just pry this out. Then remove this pillar right here. There's going to be a 10mm bolt somewhere right here. There's a 10 right here. My fingers press up against. I can release the parking brake, and you can see it. There it is right there. There's 2 Phillips head screwdrivers right here. The connector for this, right? There's a 10mm back here. And then that should be everything. So let's get started and start ripping things out.
Call me and I'll drive to you. And we can touch all night long. Just call me and I'll come through. Just call me and I'll come through.
And just like that, that's how you take it out. I forgot to mention, you have to take this out too. So you have to press it in, like squeeze it and then push up. And then the bulb, obviously, counterclockwise until it pops loose and pull it out. So, using the flashlight, you can see it's right here. So that's the speaker, and then this is the wiring. So we do have to get underneath here to reach the bolts to take it out, and then obviously unplug everything. So we get started and do that.
I was chasing shadows, moving too fast. Didn't see the way our love couldn't last.
Well, here you have it. This is the 2007 one, and this is for my 2002. The part numbers are different, so that could be a reason why this isn't really working out for my car compared to this, the electronics, but practically exactly the same. But if you need the part number, that's for the 2002. This is for the 2007. So all the first generation SC430s, the 2002 to 2005, and the second generation 2006 to 2010. So we're going to put this in. So I have the speaker disconnected, so let's see, how does it put it in like this. Now, put it back in. It is kind of a crappy angle to lay down and try to get that bolt out. But, you know, it is what it is. So, let's do it.
Replaying what I put you through. Every night I'm haunted by the thought of you. If you need my love, if you want this love,
Okay, from here, now we just plug everything back in as it was before. So it is a little messy. This black one for the speaker. It's really hard to show on camera, so I apologize. It's not a comfy spot to get to. So now that that's back in, we can put the undercarriage back in the little pillar and then the side skirt thing. So not too bad. A little uncomfortable, but not too bad.
and we can talk all night long. If you want my loving, then call me and I'll drive to you. And we can talk all night long. Just call me and I'll come through. Just call me and I'll come
There you guys have it. SC430 community put in the new, or not new, but repaired ABS, TRC, and VSC system, or the ECU, sometimes I call it, but it's not really an engine control unit, but that's just kind of the terminology for it. As you can see, immediately all the lights turned off on the dash. If you have VSC, sometimes it'll pop up like this. That means you just need to press the button right here. So I can just press it and it'll turn right back off. But in the case that the lights, the VSC light in particular, still stays on, it might show up just because I haven't driven the car in a while and I had the battery disconnected, so it might pop up. I'll show you how to recalibrate that. We can recalibrate it either using the paperclip method or the VSC reset calibration tool provided by SC430 mods. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to use something like this. It's a lot easier and more convenient compared to the paperclip method, but both works. So yeah, so we're just gonna go for a test drive and see if anything happens. So let me put my seatbelt on so we don't have any unnecessary lights on the dash. All right, let's go. Sometimes it might immediately pop up, sometimes it won't. So I'm just backing out of the garage currently, so we'll see. I'm gonna drive around the neighborhood and see how the car feels. So immediately VSC lights on, so no problem. I'll show you how to do that. You want to first get to level ground. So I am on a slant, so I need to get out to the road. Find some level ground. So I am in a cul-de-sac, so I just need to line up in the center of the cul-de-sac where it's the highest peak. So when you do this, make sure the steering wheel is straight and you are on perfectly leveled ground. All right, I have the lights on because flickering issues that I have to repair, doing some testing. So as you can see, we have the VSC. Let's see if I press the switch, if it goes away. Nope, nothing. Perfect. So easy way to fix this. I'm going to start by shutting off the car. The OBD, you can do that paperclip method or use the VSC reset tool. I currently have the OBD scanner in here, so let me pull that out. So you can also get that at SC430 mods. You want to plug this VSC reset tool or use the paperclip method, jumping I believe pin 5 and 13. Don't take my word for it, look it up. But I prefer to use this just because it's quick and easy, just plug and play. So I'm gonna plug this in. Once you plug it in, insert the key into accessory mode. If you don't know what that means, you can see it right there, accessory mode. So pretty much you just turn the key twice. It'll be in the on position, which is basically accessory mode. That turns basically all the electricals on. So 1, 2. We'll start to see the ABS start flashing and the VSC start flashing. So this is not because of my camera frame rate. This is what the tool does. So you let it, you know, flash for a little bit. Shut the car off. Take the key out. Take the VSC reset tool out. And then wait about a few minutes or so. Start the car up and it should be good to go. Now, if we start the car and the light comes back on immediately or comes back on after a little bit, then that means we need to try again somewhere else on level ground, or we actually have a problem with our VSC system. So we'll let it sit for a little bit and then we will start the car. So there you go. Lights are off again. So now we're gonna go on our test drive. As you can see, obviously, like I said before, the ABS light is off, the traction control light is off. So that basically means, you know, the repair on the module fixed everything. So big shout out to the guys from eBay that run their own little repair service for these modules, specifically for, you know, cars in general, but they also do the SC430, which is huge. And he's also an SC430 owner, so that's even bonus points for us. So he definitely knows, you know, has some familiarity with this car model and knows what to do. So big shout out to him. So now let's continue on our drive and see if anything else happens. I haven't driven this car in a long time, so bear with me if I drive a little slow. I am in the neighborhood anyway, so I shouldn't be driving fast anyways. Alright, so back in my driveway. No lights on the dash. No more ABS problems, TRC problems. No VSC problems like we had at the beginning of the video. It's just that now we have a clean dash. I hate seeing the lights on the dash that aren't supposed to be there. So we were successful. So if you're like me, if you have this similar issue and your driving feels totally normal, nothing's changed, I recommend getting in contact with Clarence to get your ABS, VSC, TRC, ECU module, whatever you want to call it. Get that computer system fixed first before you do anything else. You don't want to be like me, where I replaced quite literally everything related to that system, to those 3 systems in Operation Frankenstein before I went out to get a repair. So now, on the plus side at least, Operation Frankenstein, although being a 2002 SC430 that's been beaten to shit, it has a 2007 brake booster, 2007 ABS sensors all around, all 4, as the 2007 yaw sensor. I've replaced literally everything related to those systems with the 2007 parts car that I have, just to find out that it's just that computer thing that you just gotta get it sent out to Clarence and he fixes it up. Costed me about $200 to $300. Totally worth it, so you don't have to spend the time and extra money like I did to have to do all this extra junk. It took me a few weeks to a month to figure out. just because I work full time, so I only have time on the weekends and maybe a couple hours throughout the week. So it's a lot of wasted time not driving the car. So if you don't have a backup vehicle, it can suck. And especially if you take it out to the dealer to get it repaired, or an independent mechanic, it's going to suck to pay that crap off, because they're not gonna find out until you've dumped basically thousands of dollars into replacing the entire new system just to realize it's just the computer. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people don't really know me from all these videos, whether it shows up on their feed locally or they find me from the SC430 community. But if you want to find more maintenance videos, make sure to let me know what you want to see. Obviously, I only record these videos once I run into it myself, or someone in the SC430 community drives all the way out to me for me to look at it and fix it, and then I record a video with their permission so we could show it to the world how to fix our SC430 before it becomes even more scarce than it already is, to the point where it's going to cost even more damn money, and it's going to be way too much research into researching through the forums and other people's experiences, when you could just have my YouTube videos as a guide. So make sure you keep an eye out on my videos, whether you subscribe or not. At least keep track. I do post them on Facebook in the SC430 community pages. If you're not already in them, definitely check them out. I do post and comment quite a bit whenever I have some downtime, so it's a great way to communicate, help each other out, things like that. And then obviously you can contact me via email or just on Facebook Messenger, and we could work something out. Whether you happen to live nearby to me or I happen to be in town, feel free to hit me up. It's not a problem. I don't mind helping you guys out, especially to keep these cars around. So yeah, again, thank you to Clarence for doing this repair. It's a lifesaver now that I know. So I'll definitely be hitting him up again for other stuff, just because obviously I have multiple SC430s, and it will get to that point where it's gonna need to be repaired, and that's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna do before I touch anything else in the car and get my hands dirty. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.